G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is one of the most stacked videos I have ever done. Just look at how long it is. There is so much to talk about. We have the crazy new team swaps on EU. We have Benjy Fishy back with Mr. Savage. We have Mongraal back with Mitr0. I mean, like, the OGs are getting back together. This has me so excited. We have one of the biggest updates we've ever seen in the most recent seasons. There is so much that just got added to the game. We have some map changes that's steamy. We have some leaks of a major new POI being added to the game called Cube Town, as well as potentially Tilted Towers coming back to the game. We have some big loot pool changes. The Chug Cannon has now been vaulted from the game and replaced with these new spicy splashes that I want to talk about. Chug splashes have been added back into the game. We have the railgun being vaulted from competitive. We have the crow being added to the game. It is basically a bird that flies around the map that you kill it and you get epic and gold loot. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. We have our reworked arena system, so I want to talk about how much harder it is to get to Champions Division now. We have arena fills being taken out of the game, but hey, don't get too sad because we have the late game mode being added back. This is Booga's game mode. This is arena. Not only is it trios now, there is also solos, and they've added multiple tournaments to be played on the game mode, as well as changing it to have a more competitive loot pool, making the zones work better. Like, I am so excited for this game mode to come back, and I'm so excited for this video because that is not even everything I have to talk about. There's even more than that. So let's just jump straight into it. So before I talk about those crazy team swaps, Benjy back with Savage and Mongraal with Mitr0, let's talk about this update. And any big update starts off with map changes. Now, unfortunately, the map changes weren't as big as what I was hoping based on the leaks. All that really changed was Steamy Stacks. One building is broken down a little bit. You'll drop there a couple times. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then you'll move on. But why am I so excited? Because that's not all we have planned. We have big leaks coming out from none other than Hypex, that we have a huge POI being added to the game by the name of Cube Town. And I mean, just from this photo, you can see it's obviously pulled from the back end of the game files. There are at least like 15 to 20 chests I can count just here from the top down. I don't know if you're going to be able to enter these like buildings. They look like they might just be cubes stacked on top of each other. Maybe this is what happens when all the cubes get together. So potentially it could be a POI way later in the season, but I really hope it happens soon. I'm trying to think where this might fit on the map, and I imagine it would be at the center of the map, right where the spire is, because that's where they would all congregate and come together. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it overtakes Steamy. That's where a lot of the cubes seem to be kind of going towards right now. I'm not really sure, but we also potentially have Tilted coming back to the game. Hypex was talking a lot about leaks for Tilted. One of the main reasons for this being is you can definitely clearly see Tilted in the announcement for the late game Booga game mode, or the new late game mode. I'll talk about the details for that in a second, but this photo had me really excited. This is Tilted. I can see the clock tower. I can see all the Tilted buildings. Now, obviously, you got to remember last season, the promo and the main background photo that we got was Tilted. We had Sloan in Tilted being abducted by a spaceship, and we never got Tilted. So, hey, maybe at this point, we just got to give up on hoping for Tilted, but who knows? Maybe this is the final time of asking for it where it gets added back. But honestly, I've said this a lot in the past. I have a lot of nostalgia for Tilted. I have a lot of nostalgia for all these big drops around the map, some of my favorite drops, but I want to see new drops. I would love to go back to the old drops and play them, and I have fun on them for a while, but I want to create new memories and get excited for an entirely new drop. And if we get this Cube Town POI that looks like it's as big as a Tilted, that sounds awesome by my books. Maybe it's a remade rendition of Tilted as cubes. Like, that could be a really cool touch to it. And we might not have to wait that much longer. We could have Cube Town earlier than we think, or even Tilted. Hypex tweeting out there's going to be another update week after 17.20. So next week, we're going to have 17.21. It's going to have a download and downtime, and not just a content update from the looks of it. So not only have we kicked off with one of the biggest updates ever for the last few seasons, we have another one coming right around the corner. Next up, let's talk about some of these loot changes I talked about in the intro, but we have the Chug Cannon being vaulted from the game. It no longer drops from llamas. Instead, it now drops these spicy Chug Splashes. Now, it acts exactly like you'd imagine, just like a Chug Splash. You get 20 health or 20 shield, depending on what you need, but you also get the pepper effect. You get a 60-second movement speed boost, and it's for your entire trio. Now, a lot of people are worried about this. I think it's going to be a really cool addition to the game. I truly do. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, peppers are really, really strong. You pop them, you can pull off some crazy ramp plays on high ground. You can make some really good rotates through early and mid ground, but I think they're balanced for the most part. They're going to be strong, don't get me wrong. You're going to be very happy when you get them, just like you were when you found a llama and got a chug cannon, but I think it'll be one of the more balanced forms of mobility, and I love that Epic's thinking towards actual group mobility. These aren't shockwaves or crash pads that you can use as a trio, but they feel really awkward and they weren't designed for that. This is designed for trios, and even when you look at pubs and arena, like the chug cannon was good, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't really that fun in my opinion. If I found an arena, sometimes I wouldn't even run it, because last season I'd rather run the sniper and maybe the inflatable to get around the map. Like, it's a good item when you're getting in a box fight and you take a big bit of damage, you doof 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 doof, and then you fight them again. Like, yeah, that's good, but is it fun? It's fun to have a powerful weapon and to have a lot of health and be able to bully people, but it's not as fun as like playing arena with a shockwave or a crash pad or something like that, or some spicy splashes. Having extra mobility to get around the map faster, to get out of zone, to just rush people with your friends or disengage from fights. It has a lot more of a fun element. But let's talk about competitive as well. Do I think it'll be better for competitive? At this point, yes, I think the spicy splashes will be better for the game than the chug cannon. I've talked about this at length. I won't go into too much detail, but my biggest issue with the chug cannon, with the removal of the sniper rifle, a lot of pro players, you'll watch this because why wouldn't they? They'll just stand up on their build's endgame and just start shooting at anyone, wait till they shoot them back, try to get some shots off, and then sit back down behind their walls and dush, 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 and then do it again. There was no real risk to it, because without snipers in the game, it's almost impossible to get one shot. You have to get 3, 2, 1 by an entire trio. So the chug cannon just allowed you to pretty much just farm Surge for almost no risk, but only 5 people on the map could do it at a time, which made Surge really, really difficult for other teams, especially those that don't have access to a chug cannon very often. Like, the llamas are random spawns, I know that, but they naturally spawn in areas with more open area. So if you're dropping at like the Kami split, the area that's near the new alien drop spot between Dirty and Corny Complex, you got a way higher chance of getting a llama than someone who potentially drops at Steamy Stacks, is looting inside a POI where the llama's not going to spawn and only rotates out of it for a little bit. Again, they kind of cover that ground between Steamy, but some drops have almost no chance of getting llamas. And not only that as well, they were leading to way more heal offs. I like the chug cannon heal off more than floppy heal offs, because you can hear where someone's doing it, you can see them, you can play around it, you can hear how many chug cannons they're using, but it also meant that a lot of them just kind of congregated on low ground, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it kind of dispels that advantage that height always has, because low ground is eliminating people and getting chug cannons back. But anything that reduces heal off, I'm a fan of, because especially with 12 reboot rounds in this FNCS format, I just don't really want more heal offs. And yes, the spicy splashes could be used for a heal off, but you have a maximum of 6 of them, and you're not going to have all 6 going into endgame. You're going to use them on rotates, you're going to use them on high ground retakes, you're not going to be carrying as many of them. Because the harpoon's back, floppers are back, and with the chug cannons, it was just looking like a super heavy heal off meta. So bravo to Epic. I think this is a great change. Maybe in 3 days time, I completely change my mind. They're OP, they're terrible, I don't like them. I'm trying to be more positive in my videos. I'm trying to, try to find the positive spin, and you guys clearly don't like to hear me just rant about negativity, but I truly think this is a good addition to the game. I said it when I first saw them leaked by Hypex at the start of the season, and I'm happy to say it now. We also had the addition of regular chug splashes, which again is such a good item for trios. If you're having an FNCS where it's trios or squads, you need to have some form of team healing, and chug cannons and these chug splashes and these spicy splashes do just that. So bravo to Epic, really good loot change there. We also have the railgun being vaulted from competitive. No controversy there. It is just an item that doesn't belong in competitive. It was in last season's preseason. It was deemed to be too strong. They removed it. I saw the same thing happening now, and it has. So again, bravo to Epic. Great change. We also have the addition of the loot crows. Now, these are NPCs. They are birds. They are just that. They are crows that fly around the map. They can be epic or legendary. You kill them, and they drop an epic or legendary gun, including spazzes. This is kind of cool. Like, I don't know. I don't have any great thoughts on them. I mean, it's just going to be more epic and legendary loot around the map. It adds a little bit more RNG. But hey, if you're rotating and, you're sitting there at half, just twiddling your thumbs, waiting to see what happens, and you see a crow fly past, bop, and you get a gold spaz, That's kind of cool. Like, I'm not going to say that's a necessarily good or bad thing. It means there's going to be more powerful weapons on the map. Some of you guys like that, especially arena and pubs. It's cool to run around with beefy loadouts. It's not going to be like Stark meta where everyone's running around with spazzers, but there's definitely going to be some more powerful loadouts on the map, which I think could be a bit fun. Competitive, we'll have to see how it plays out, but I wouldn't straight out of the gate say this is a terrible or amazing change to the game. It's just a fun change that I'm waiting to see how it actually affects competitive. Let's talk about the addition of the Arena late game mode. This is basically the Booga endgame mode that you and I loved. I'm gonna say you without asking you because I know you loved it because everyone loved it. It was one of the best things they've ever added to Fortnite. If you guys don't know what it was, you somehow missed it. It basically was a game mode where you could queue right into endgame, into 5th zone, rotating zones, and it just simulated a competitive endgame. It wasn't super competitive. Most people were just jumping around the map with shadow bombs, but it was so much fun. But Epic's re-added it and they've made it competitive. So we had a big blog post coming out today just about the late game arena, but it's a little bit confusing. It's going to return on the October the 5th, which is, you know, in about a week's time, but we are going to have a solo late game cup and a trio late game cup on the 1st and 2nd of October. I don't really know why the tournaments are 3 days before the actual game mode comes out, so I guess we don't get to practice it. We just jump straight into the tournament, but hey, it's 2 tournaments and it's a game mode that I love. So I'm very happy. I'm confused, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain too much about it. Also, as you just heard, that means there is going to be a solo game mode. You can queue up for the late game arena solos at any time, jump in and just go for it. I am so excited for that to practice. Not only that, Epic has made some huge improvements to the game across the board. The loot pool has been changed so it's more competitive for solos and trios. They fixed the way the zone works. The slipstreams of the alien zones are going to turn off at endgame, and this is a bit of an odd one. At the very bottom of the blog post, Epic said along with the new loot there's a couple other pieces for you to discover. I don't know what this is. I actually think this could potentially mean that we are going to get a tilted POI just in the late game arena. I don't know. Like, that sounds weird when I say it because the map surely is going to be just the regular map we already have. So it'd be weird to just add it onto this, but not the regular map. But why did they use tilted as the photo in the background? Why does Epic keep doing this to us? Why are you toying with our emotions? Stop showing us tilted unless you're going to give us tilted. But hey, whatever those, you know, additions could be or surprises, I like surprises. I'm pretty excited to just load up and see what happens. It could be cool. So across the board, it looks pretty good. It's going to be solos. It's going to be trios. Trios is going to have a fill option. I mentioned that as like an exciting factor because regular arena no longer will have a fill option. I'll talk about that in a minute. A little bit sad on that one. Reboot vans are being added. They've changed the way the hype system works. They said that you're not going to get a bus fare, and they also said especially they're going to have long-term goals, especially for you grinders. So hey, we're getting some arena incentives. Am I going to get some cosmetics? Am I going to get a skin? Most likely not. I'm probably going to get a spray and an emoticon. But hey, hopefully we get some actual cosmetics because for some reason they're adding rewards to the late game mode, but they're not adding them to regular arena, which again, I'll talk about in a second. Now, so far, I've been pretty positive, but let's talk about the one negative of this update, the arena rework. And obviously you've probably seen it. I'm putting it in quotation marks because this wasn't a rework. I'm not going to go into super detail on this one, but unfortunately it looks like solos and duos you get at 20 points per elim, trios you get 15 points per elim. That is the only major change to arena. Apparently, as you go up in divisions, you're going to get less points per elim and less placement points, but again, it's nothing significant. It doesn't matter how much they change the point system. They could make it 1,000 points for a win and only 1 point for an elim, and people are still going to W key because there is nothing to play for. The arena system is not competitive. I've talked about this in the past. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail ranting about it, but when there's nothing to play for, there's no skins, there's no icons to flex, there's no cosmetics, there's no tournaments, there is nothing other than getting champs division to play for an arena. Changing the point system like this is not going to make it any better. It's going to make it a bit harder to get champs, which is going to frustrate some of you guys because I'll talk about this in a minute. We have cash cups less than a week away and you guys have got to get champs now, but it's not going to make the games really any better. It's going to make a lot of people play right now because they want to get champs for tournaments, but give it 3-4 weeks, almost everyone who's decent will be champs, and then arena will go back to being not terrible, but it'll be as good as it ever has. It'll have, maybe a rotating zone occasionally, but quite often you're just going to have the game end on, you know, 4th or 5th zone, and that's it. So pretty sad. I've pretty much given up hope at this point that Epic will add an actual ranked arena system. I made a tweet about it. Content creators and people in the community like Lachlan seem to think that maybe in chapter 3 will be when they add something like this, but I've just given up hoping at this point. Maybe when the game starts to really drop off and die, Epic might add it as like a last ditch attempt to bring people back. But at this point, I just think it's really sad to see such a missed opportunity. I'm still going to play a bunch of Arena. Don't get me wrong. I'm really enjoying Arena because I enjoyed the season. I've got my new joystick that I'm playing around with. I'm practicing. Twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. If you want to come watch me play some Arena games, it's basically all I'm going to be doing over the next few days. But I would just love a proper rank system to grind for, maybe get some cosmetics, maybe win something and have something to show for the amount of points that I've got. This season, I finished off at about 75,000 points and I got nothing to show for it. So I really hope Epic changes something, but I'm not holding my breath. The biggest change they did make to Arena, which you aren't going to be too happy about, is the removal of Arena Fill. Now, I assumed that this was going to stay in the game forever. I know it was a test, but after a test where the entire community loves it and everyone has overwhelming support, I thought Epic would just leave it. But they tweeted out, our test period for Arena Fill has completed and we're disabling the option for now. We appreciate those who participated in the test and provided feedback. We'll keep you updated on whether Arena Fill will return. Epic, it better return. There's just no reason not to. It was so much fun. I actually met a surprising amount of really good, really nice, wholesome players from Arena Fill. It's just a cool addition to the game. If I don't want to fill with random teammates, I won't use it. But if I want to, it's nice to have the option, and it makes arena queues faster and has stimulated Arena to be a lot more popular. Even in my baby region, the smallest region in the world, OCE, I could find good arena duo queue times almost any time of the day in a preseason. Like, that is huge. That is massive. Clearly, people absolutely loved it. So the only reason I can think to have Arena Fill taken out right now is because with Cash Cups in about a week's time, I guess Epic wants to make sure that people are getting to their points by themselves, or at least with friends that are also good. Like, you can still get carried by friends. Like, I mean, I play with pros all the time. I'm not going to try and pretend I'm as good as them. Like, you take Phil out of the game and you're still going to have people get carried. So I really don't see a reason why Epic took this out. Let's just hope they're going to add it back in very quickly because it should be in the game. Now, we do have tournaments coming back to the game. Let's bring it back to the positives. We have tournaments starting very quickly, not just the late game mode. We have solo cash cups starting in 5 days on the 3rd of the 10th, or the 10/3, however you Americans say it. The 3rd of October, we're going to have our solo cash cups come back. We have our trio cash cups coming back as well on the 4th of the 10th, or the 4th of October again for you Americans out there. So that's pretty exciting. We have the trio hype cup and the duo hype cup. Trio hype cup's going to be on a Monday. Duo hype cup's going to be on a Friday. So we already have tournaments kicking off in less than a week. I assume you're going to have to be Champions Division to play in the solo and trio cash cup, but with that only giving you 5 days, you guys are going to have to start grinding pretty quick. They've made Champions Division harder to get to and made the tournaments in less than a week. In the past, though, we've seen them actually reduce the requirements for the first tournament and said you only have to be 4,000 points or 2,000 points. I have a feeling they're going to do that again, but just in case they don't, maybe Epic's going to do no handouts. Start grinding arena points now because you have less than a week until tournaments come back. And again, as you guys know, that means viewing parties. Twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. We love a Twitch plug. I'm going to be doing viewing parties for all the EU and NA East cash cups. I might throw in some OC and NA West in there, but EU and NA East are the two that I'm very, very heavily focusing on. All right, while on the news of competitive, let's talk about these team changes because they are ridiculous. So we had Savage tweet out Andretta x Benjy x Mr. Savage for FNCS. Now, I saw this coming right as I posted yesterday's video. I posted it, and literally 5 minutes later, we had Refsguard come out and tweet looking for trio. And that's when I just freaked out. I was like, what is going on here? There is no way Benjy Fishy tweets out he's looking for a new trio, and then all of a sudden Mr. Savage's teammate is now looking for a trio. And it was true. Just like that, Mr. Savage and Andretta chose to pick up Benjy Fishy over Refsguard, who they have had a top 3 FNCS finish with. That is crazy. Now, what are my thoughts on that? I love Benjy. I'm super biased towards Benjy. My man's an NRG boy as well. Obviously, I'm going to be biased towards him, but I think he's a great pickup for any single team. He is also a very versatile player. He was looking for a trio as a fragger, but let's be honest, he fills so many different roles and slots into so many different teams so well. He clearly has fantastic chemistry with Mr. Savage. He's known Andretta for a really long time. I think they're an insanely solid team, but I don't know. Until you play with someone, I feel like the pros are the only ones who can really make a safe judgment and assessment on who is better, who they are going to play better with, and ultimately who is going to fit their team best. I, from the outside looking in, just don't know. I get to watch Benjy play all the time. He streams, he makes YouTube videos, he absolutely pops off, he looks insane. Refsguard makes content as well, but I've never played with them. I've never got to watch both of them for an extended period of time against each other. Clearly, Savage and Andretta, or maybe just Savage, or someone thinks that Benjy's better, and that's why they've done it. It looks like Refsguard holds no bad blood. He hasn't really tweeted anything out saying, you know, I can't believe they dropped me, they suck, anything like that, but the next part is interesting. So where is Benjy, Savage, and Andretta going to go? Of course, they're going to go Steamy Stacks, but we have Refsguard's new team, Refsguard, Hen, and Trulex. Where are they going to go? Steamy Stacks. So maybe there is going to be a bit of beef there. Maybe there is going to be a bit of drama. Who knows? They're going head to head. In Noble scrims today, the EU Pro scrims, they clashed. They went head to head. I've been told by multiple sources, because Boop obviously does replay mode viewing parties, the Benjy, Savage, and Andretta won 3 of the 4 times they went up against Refsguard's new team on spawn. And that's really important. The first day of a new team going up against an old team, and especially a newly formed team at a drop spot, you want to absolutely pummel them into the ground to the point where you make them want to split up or stop contesting you. As brutal as that sounds, that's just the strategy. So potentially they're going to do that here. I guess we'll have to see, but hey, we have Benjy and Savage back together again. I'm so excited. Now, that's not all. That is one of the biggest OG duos back together. Who could be even bigger than Benjy and Savage getting back together? Mongraal and Mitr0, who have picked up Fremok, the Russian demon. He is an absolute freak of a player. This is a very scary team. Again, obviously, Mongraal, Mitr0, both players have, you know, they've been through the wars recently. You already probably made your opinion. You still think they're phenomenal, or you think they're washed, they're terrible, and you're jumping on the bandwagon of hating on them. It's going to go one way or the other. I obviously still have a big soft spot for both these players. They are the absolute OG GOATs. I really want to see them do well. I've been talking up Mongraal for a few seasons now. He hasn't lived up to it. Mitr0 scares me a little bit because he's still insane. He clearly knows how to fight. He's been doing really well with teams that he's fit in with recently. He replaced Wakey last week in the preseason warm-up, and he looked really, really good. So maybe they have a chance. It's a scary fighting team. They're going to be unleashed. I'm scared for any team that gets in their way early and mid-game, but we've seen this story too often with Mongraal and Mitr0. They find a scary third. They're insanely good at fighting, but they just don't have the team knowledge. They don't have the game knowledge. They fight everyone they see. It leaves them shambles. They go into endgame with no loot, and then things fall apart. I hope I'm wrong in saying this time, but hey, maybe it will work, maybe it won't. You add even more firepower in, maybe this is going to finally be the explosive rocket that takes Mongraal and Mitr0 back to the top, but maybe it's also going to blow up in their face. We'll have to see. They were playing Noble scrims together. They might not be an official team. They haven't announced it anywhere, but hey, they were playing pro scrims together. They're at least giving it a shot. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I've got some other stuff to talk about, but I'm going to break it up. I'm going to save it for tomorrow's video. It's going to be an exciting one as well. This video is probably going to come out a little bit late. Please give my editor a break. I'm giving this video to him 10 minutes before when we normally upload. He's going to have to edit it. I had to wait for the update to come out. I also recorded half this video with my mic muted without realizing. So I did it twice just for you guys. If you liked it, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.